keep on working. And then that's another opportunity to come and have a look at your inversions. The other things are Himalayan retreat. That is March 31st to April 2nd. I'll be there as well. Just a Friday night through a Sunday. I've told you a lot about the Himalayan over the years, but 3-hour drive north, very simple to get to, delicious food, very relaxing environment, and we'll do some restorative yoga, our yoga. They have all the toys to play with in a yoga room, so that makes it a lot of fun to practice there. We just have the wall space, the props, everything. And then the last thing is, if you have any interest in teacher training, our access level, there's a QR code here you can enter to win $1,000 off of the training. So scan the QR codes for that. All right, let's get started. Let's get into it. So you already know without breath, nothing in the practice works. So we always start there, and we start with our intention to be in a sense of wonder about our breath. Not I know this and I'm already doing this, I breathe all the time, but instead a breath that's going to carry you through some really interesting things in your practice. So get to it. You know it's Ujjayi, a deep breath in. Feel it stir across the back of your throat, and a full breath out then where you feel it in the back of your throat as well. Slow, steady, deep, rhythmic, smooth, and consistent. Build your breath, shape it in that way, because we also want that then to dictate how you build your movements. They're connected, that interconnected. Inhales, inspire, make movement, make lift. Exhales, relax, let go of, soften. On your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. And while you're building the downward facing dog, keep in mind and look for an inhale to lift, to lighten, to bring energy, and exhale to settle, to soften, to let go. You can be bending and straightening your knees here, or spreading your fingers really wide, tippy-toeing, whatever little movements. I always just like, even in my shoulders, just an inhale, I feel like they just lift a little bit, and exhale, I feel like they settle. Imagine it like when it's a summer day and the windows open and a breeze is blowing in and lifting the curtain and then fluttering it back down. That's soft. Take another breath here. Once you're finished, move up to the front of your mat. At the front, lift up halfway, and then just hang down. You can fold your arms and hold your opposite elbow and sway from side to side. Now, while you're swaying, be aware of how your breath, of course, is moving you, but then how also your weight is moving through your 2 feet. If you don't like what you discover, change it. Consider it and change it. For many of us, it's usually heels a little bit wider, feet a little wider, and getting anchored into all 4 corners of your feet. Then press your feet down, let them sink down until you feel a lifting up in your arches and come rolling all the way up to standing. Ultimately, sweep your arms overhead, lift up, look up, and then settle your hands in prayer position at the center of your chest. Your drishti, where you put your attention, your gaze, so important to the practice, just like your breathing. So choose a spot, set your gaze on the spot, and let yourself see what you see. So with a soft gaze, not a stare, not locked in, just a soft gaze, see what you see. Create the intention for your practice today. Bring it top of mind. Consider it each time you create a pose through the practice. If you ever forget it, just set a new one. 3 times we'll chant together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, lift, and fill. Exhale, fold, and press all the air out. Then inhale, lift up halfway, stretch. Exhale, high plank to low plank. Empty all the breath till it's gone. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Fill up and empty out. 2 more. Inhale and empty out. Last one. Breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees. Move up to your hands. Halfway lift and fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Lift, open up, fold to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway. Chaturanga on your exhales. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Start to move energy through your body, through the room, and get connected to the rest of the people practicing in the space around you. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, stand, lift, stretch, open, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Move the breath. Deep breath in, full breath out. 2 more. Deep breath in, full breath out. Last time. Deep breath in, full breath out, bend your knees, move up to the front. Halfway lift, forward fold. Last round. Inhale, stand all the way up, lift and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. While you're in this downward facing dog, breathing and stretching, tippy toe your feet up in the air and drop your heels to the left, but keep pressing your right arm down. Breathe into the whole right side of your body. Give it a little bit of lateral extension. Stay here. Who knew that side could get so tight? One more breath. Come up to your tippy toes and sink your heels to the opposite side. So now you'll really press your left hand into the mat. And I'll say, as I've been looking around at your downward dogs, I can tell that you're starting to practice inversions, because I can see in your downward dogs long, active arms and active hands. Come back up to the center, sink your heels down, take a breath in, exhale, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Halfway lift and fold. Chair pose, sit back, reach your arms high, stretch your elbows, wrists, and fingers. So fully active arms. Take a breath. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, drop back and empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1, arms overhead. Breathe right here. Press your feet into the mat. So press the back edge, that's it, Blake, of your back foot down while you lift your arch. Then draw the pit of your belly in and up and stand tall. There you go. One more breath. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take the left foot forward and lunge. Long stride, really bend your knee a lot. Deep, deep lunge. Reach up. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Empty your breath here at the bottom of the pose. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. It's always advantageous practicing in the morning. These sun salutations were originally meant for just that. A prayer to the sun in the morning to welcome it and be grateful for a new day. Maybe you embody that as you take your next couple. Finish this exhale and move up to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale and fold. Chair pose, active arms all the way up to the sensation in your fingertips. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, lunge. Anchor your feet and reach up. Hands to the floor, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step and lunge, stretch, reach, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Press your hands into the ground like they're doing a handstand right now. Once they're pressing and your arms are very active, drag your hips in the downward dog back out of your fingertips. Squeeze them out with your fingers. Take a breath in. When you exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, sit, reach, sensation up to the fingertips, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward lunge. Anchor your feet, lunge deeper than you usually do. Hands down, chaturanga, empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side, lunge, deeper than you usually do. Reach up and lift. Hands down, chaturanga, empty. Up dog, downward facing dog. Take one breath in and out. Then inhale, raise your right leg up into the air behind you. Now, as you exhale, knee to your nose, shoulders over your fingertips. Lift your body light. Reach up and back. Knee to your nose. Hover over your fingers. Lift your belly and your ribs. Reach up and back again. Knee to your nose. Reach up and back. Bend your knee. Flip the pose over. 2 feet to the floor. Steady breathing. Get into your feet and into your left hand, and then lift up, rise up, and be light. Lift it out of your feet and hand. Do whatever it's going to take in your right arm to get as much shoulder opening. Let's say 3 huge sweeping circles while you hold this pose. As big as they can be, open up the whole of your shoulders best you can. And then we're going to flip to side plank with the bottom leg, if possible, extending out in front of you perpendicular. Side plank. That's it. Just like you can see Kristen bringing forward here. Press down, reach up. You got it, Blake. Even on the forearm, that works. Bring your bottom knee into your chest. Try bringing your other one. Yes, and reaching the leg in front of you. You got it. Reach up to the ceiling. He's like, wait a second. That was a trick. One more breath. High plank to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg in the air. Raise it behind you. Then when you bring your knee forward, hug your belly in, knee to your nose, tuck your chin. So it's like a cat stretch. Knee to your nose, tuck it in, hug it in. One more time, stretch up and back. Knee to your nose, hover, lift the pit of your belly. Good. Stretch it up and back and flip it over. Bend the knee, 2 feet on the floor, right hand on the ground. That's it. Steady breathing. Then big sweeping circles with your left arm. As wide around as you can make it go, fully opening your chest, shoulder, upper back part of your shoulder, and get complete. And then we'll flip through. Keep your left knee bent as it comes through to the opposite side and reaches straight out in front of you. See if you can bring your toes up toward your face a little bit more. Maybe you find you can take 3 little ankle taps on the floor with that leg. 2, 3. Then without it touching the ground, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. Once you get your foot stepped forward, your hips square, arms overhead and palms face in front of you. Wake your hands up like they're, like they're shooting up to the ceiling. You can touch your fingertips to the ceiling. And then what we're going to do is, this will be the inhale. You'll drag your toes on the exhale, knee to your chest. Put them on the floor, slide them back lightly. Just like that. Slide and lift. Touch them and slide. So you never have a moment where you're launching. Try that 3 times, best you can. Just barely dragging your foot, lunge, barely dragging, lift up. Finish another 1. Best you can. And then back into your crescent lunge once you're able. Into the crescent lunge, hands to prayer, and you're twisting left elbow to your right knee. You got it. You're welcome to open your arms. Create a stretching from your back heel all the way up to the crown of your head. So those 2 parts pulling apart, and then just sink the middle of your upper back in. Fire up your back leg. So powerful and active. And from here, take another breath and then tilt forward to reverse half moon. Try your best to keep that back leg pulling and reaching so you don't jiggle and wiggle and fall around. Yep, that's it. Step forward, back leg lifting, turn toward the street, Blake. You got it. Reverse half moon. So just imagine your lifted foot is being drawn behind you, and as a tug of war, you're pulling in front of it. So I'm pulling Kristen's heel. She's resisting by pulling the crown of her head across the room. One more breath, gently, crescent lunge, settle your foot back, reach up. Warrior two. Just settle into your feet, into your arms reaching, and feel how it is in your body. Check out for what's available to you now. Back, heel back a little bit more so you have a wider stance and a deeper lunge. Take it back there even more. You have long legs. Take up that mat. That's it. Now lunge, Blake. Way down. Down there. Lift the pit of your belly. If you're here and super comfortable, then maybe challenge it a little more. Ensure the front foot and knee are pointing in the same direction. Tilt for extended side angle. Stay with it as best you can. You can reach your top arm to the ceiling or overhead. In your extended side angle, you keep reaching, your back foot pressing, your top arm reaching, and then step forward to half moon. You can just keep the reach forward of your top arm. It'll be different than you usually hold your half moon. Step right into it. Heel back, fingers forward. See if you can get that so long, straight stretching from your heel to your fingertips. You got it. Press your heel back. Relax your shoulder molly and reach through your elbow, stretching. That's it. Tilt back, warrior two, reverse the warrior. Get a stretch in the side of your body as you reverse the warrior and stretch. Then bring your hands to the floor for chaturanga. So good, right? Upward dog. What did you say, Angie? We can do hard things. We can do hard things, team. Step your left foot forward. Arms overhead. Palms face up. Activate. So these kind of hanging out half arms aren't going to work for you here. You have to stay square. Imagine there's even pressure against your inner knee. Then just drag your back leg up. Create the cactus arms and slide it back. Slide it up and slide it back. Just figure out how to find your body in space here. You got it. You'll be connecting to your center line. You're getting it. Good. Two more. Slide it back. Land soft. Good. Bring it up. You got one more. You guys are getting good at this. One more. It's a lot from the core. That's stability. Crescent twist. Now things that seemed hard before are the easy things where you get to rest. Right elbow to your left knee. That wasn't a consolation. Once you get into this, fire up your back leg. Activate it. So it's pressing, heel back, hamstrings to the ceiling. A little more active. You got it. So from your heel reaching back to your head reaching forward, your whole body long, like you're being pulled in the two directions. Stretch. That's it. And then just melt the center of your upper back. Stay with this for a couple more breaths. Upper back sinking. You'll feel your chest broaden. And then you're tilting forward. So as smooth and steady as you can to the reverse half moon. So you're going to have to stretch for it so you don't have to wiggle and fall into it. Active lifted back foot. You keep reaching and breathing. Heel reaches back, crown of the head forward. You've got it, Betsy. Stay right here and breathe. Feel how it feels to be in the pose. One more. Gently, crescent lunge, tilt back. Reach up. Warrior two. Warrior two. Take a breath. Get a breather. Maybe a sigh. And then lunge down. Be careful of over-rotating your front foot's ankle so your toes are a little too wide. Consider that this is like how wide your legs go in a straddle split. Mine don't go very wide. So instead of really being at 12 o'clock, I'm probably a little more at nearly 1 o'clock here so that I can sit in both of my hips instead of having to roll this back one forward. Stretch your arms apart. Tilt for extended side angle. So you reach to the floor in front of your knee so your arm is pressing your knee back. That's it. Foot looks good. and then you're just creating that motion. So the whole inseam of your front leg, that gets a stretch long. Just let the inseam grow a little longer. Reach your top arm overhead in front of you so it's very active. Activate your back leg and back foot as seamlessly as possible. Tilt forward into half moon. See if you can try that different arm position so your arm is reaching long in the same long line as your foot. You can just stretch all of that long. 3 breaths here. Nice, Molly. Feel how it is. 2 more breaths. Relax. Feel how it is. Last breath. Stretch. You got to pull. Warrior 2. Reverse warrior. So you just flip your front palm up and stretch and get this whole side lengthened. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Learning to move our body through space is part of your handstand practice. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Deep breath in, full sigh out, look forward, move up to your hands. Half lift and fold, chair twist to the right. Sit your hips way back. A variation you can take is just squat down, hips down toward your heels. They'll come off the ground. And your hands can then be in prayer, elbow to your knee, body long, and then rotate. You might feel it a little deeper in your left back that way. How's that feel, Molly? Kind of good, right? Good. Betsy and Kristen, how's it feeling? Feel it a little deeper in your back? 1 more breath. Chair pose, forward fold. Hook your big toes and stretch down. You want a nice wide stance for your feet here. Draw your chest down to your toes. You could shift your weight from side to side, but keep your breathing. If you need to establish breath again, take a sigh and clean the slate. Let go. Maybe do that a couple times if you're trying to settle your heart rate. And then you know the deal here. Left fingertips on the ground. Keep holding your right big toe. Lift your right foot high up in the air. We're starting to make some progress here. Yep. So you can put your fingers on a block. Could put your left fingers on a block. Keep holding your right big toe and lift it to the side. Yep. These are the muscles that on the side of your body stabilize you when you're standing upright. They also press into a handstand here. Hold them there. Get comfortable with it for 2 more breaths. Maybe a little higher. Come on down and shake your hips out. Okay, ready for the other side? Right hand on the block. Big toe of your left foot. Lift your leg in the air. You got it. Eyes on one spot. Be very purposeful with your breathing. If your foot lifts a little higher, take it a little higher. 2 more breaths. Bring it on down. Toe heel your feet wide open. Take the goddess squat. I think that's what usually feels the best right here. Just press into your knees while your knees, so flat feet if they'll go there, and if they don't, heels up. And then you're just pressing, knees in, elbows out. So you get this length of the front of the spine. And then while we're here, nestle your arms deep, deep down so your knees are as near to your armpits as they can be, and set your hands as wide as they'll go on your mat and squeeze the floor, and then just tilt, wide leg crow pose. Tilt into it, just 3 breaths. In it, breathe in, breathe out. You have it. Breathe in, press down as you breathe out. Last one, move to chaturanga. Upward face, so the low plank. Nice. Up dog to downward facing dog. Take a breath, have a sigh, and just let it be okay in your body. You can do this. Let go of what you've done. Be easy with yourself, and then move up to your hands. At the front, halfway lift, forward fold. Chair twist now the other way. You can take it as a squat if you'd like. What the squat gives us is that both hips are settled down and that we can get long in the body. And then with the rotation, you'll just move your arm bones to your back and keep your abdominals strong. So when you move your arm bones back, it doesn't occur that your belly just kind of sags forward. Then breathe and broaden your chest and upper back. That's it. Broaden across your shoulders as much as you have access to. Do you feel that in your back right body? That's probably so good for you. 1 more breath. Chair pose. Forward fold. Feet open hip width distance. Slide your palms under your feet from the front, gorilla pose. Like it's squash you play, right? He's a squash player. And if any of you have had a squash player in your family, they get this purposeful little kink in their back from that, the way the racket is swung. That's got to feel amazing. Release your hands from beneath your feet. Your fingertips go on the floor, or I love the progression into your flat hands on the floor. They could both be on blocks for now if the floor feels kind of down there in flexibility. Then keep your big toes in one line. You can see mine are on this gold line. Flat hands lean, and then lift your foot up and back down. See if you can lift it, gently touch it, and lift it. Gently touch it and lift it. Both arms straight, pressing into the floor or the block. So straighten that left arm into your handstand arm too. You got it. 5 times, 2 handstand arms, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. Shake it out. Maybe you want to take that right leg and just wrap it around behind you. Just stretch the right hip. Or maybe it feels better to you to make the figure 8s with your hip. Here's a second one for you, Kristen. Left side. So just lift it in the air or be taking the taps. 2 straight handstand hands. If you can, flat palms. When your foot leaves the floor, point it and bring it back down. Oh, thanks for that reminder, Suzanne. I forgot about that. Shake your left leg behind you. Shake it behind you. She's waiting to hear. She knows what she did. 2 flat hands on the ground. This is our last thing. We're doing the TikToks you guys created the other day. That was all you. 1 leg, the other leg. 1 leg, the other leg. Go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goddess squat. Wide body. We're getting brand new hips. Brand new hips. That'll work. Take the forward fold. Give yourself the figure 8 swishes and swashes of your hips. Just little figure 8s with your pelvis in the air. And then come rolling up to standing just 1 bone at a time and sweep your arms overhead. Right side eagle pose will take 1 set. So wrap your right arm under your left, squat, right leg over your left, tuck your toes, draw the pit of your belly in and lift the sides of your body really long. Step out, arms overhead, left side, left arm under, left leg over, steady breathing. You know that your breath is an important tool. Steady breathing. Step out, arms overhead, stretch up. Now I have straps if they'll be helpful. I would prefer this next one that you're actually holding onto your foot and extending for the standing leg raise. Who wants a strap for this? You hold onto your foot? I don't remember. Let's give you one in case. Let's make sure that we just have a bunch around. Here, Suzanne. Oh, the molting has really begun. Anybody ever do a foot mask? Suzanne has done one. She's losing half her foot. So hold this around the ball of your foot and stand up tall. Then extend your leg forward. We're looking for your toes to keep pointing up to the ceiling. Good. Create a quality and a feeling of your thigh bone, the whole of it, just settling back. Walk your hands up the straps as close as they comfortably go to your foot and put both tails in your left hand. Then reach to the wall behind you for dancing Shiva. Steady breathing. Yep, you're turning toward the street on this side. Can your leg go a little higher, Sandra, with the softening of your knee? Yep, till your heel's up at hip height. Come forward, hug the knee into your chest, drop the strap. Airplane pose. Airplane pose. So reach your leg back and your arms back. Activate your lifted leg, your foot, so it's as though it's standing on the wall behind you. So press with your heel. Activate the whole leg. Open the back of your knee if you can by straightening it. Do you have a little more there? Hands to prayer position. Press them together. Keep your leg in the air. Bring your hands to the ground for standing splits. So it's legs stay straight up in the air. Your hands can stay on blocks or the floor. They could also, one or two, hug the standing leg. In the hugging, you draw your chest down to the ground. Stay purposeful with where your eyes are for just another breath or two. Then keep your leg in the air. We'll put the handstand hands on the ground. Spread them out and press the floor. Then come up onto the tippy toes of your left foot. You could stay right here with two really active legs. If the hamstrings don't love this, a very active bent leg. And then we're bending and hopping the knee into the chest. Hopping, why don't you do two bent legs? You might like that for a change. Two very purposefully bent knees. Flat hands, they could be on blocks. Little hops up in the air, just three of them. 1, 2, 3. Forward fold and hang. Just stay right here and hang. Keep the head down, the blood down, still rushing down. And can settle your breath. Janet's got the deal. No more talking before class. It's silence. No ideas. No inspiration. Okay, at the front of your mat, come rolling up to standing with your strap. Hug your left knee into your chest. Standing leg raise on the left. And a lot of the things that we play with here, you can put in place in any practice with any teacher. There's space and time for you to decide, okay, maybe I'm not doing the half moon today. I'm taking some handstands. When you're doing your handstands, the arms are straight and active. You practice that in every downward facing dog. So even here, toes, elbows, fingers, hands, alive. Can you sense sensation in your fingertips? Dancing Shiva, so both straps in the right hand. Open up, reach back with the left. Breathe. Soft knee, let it be soft for a second. What happens if it's a little softer? Hug your knee into your chest, airplane pose. Steady breathing. Once you've had your hands pressed, open your airplane, chest up, little shoulders up, Angie. That's it, a little upward dog in your chest, Janet. That's it, Suzanne. Hands to prayer, press them, bring them to the floor, handstand hands. They'll need to go a little bit in front of you so you have room to tippy toe. You could be taking this on the 2 blocks. So if it feels like it's hard to get your hands on the ground, you could be just pressing and leaning into the 2 blocks if that gives you some access. Flexibility will come. A bent top leg if you want to. So now might be on your bad leg. That's okay. We're still leg in the air, hopping, knee into the chest, pressing the floor, pressing the floor. Press the floor. So straight elbows for everybody. Straight elbows as you hop. That was it, Betsy. Straight elbows, forward fold and hang. Yeah, Blake, that was it. I liked that. Hang. Yeah, it would have been a good day to know. Catch your breath. Take a couple sighs. Just feel how it is for you for a second. And then, oh, is that your aura ring, Blake? Oh, so he's going to be able to tell you later. Come on up to standing. I mean, young, different body, but, you know, arms overhead, right arm behind you. Hold your ankle from the inside, left arm in the air, and kick and reach. I always love to hear what different body types burn as calories in a yoga class. It can be a lot. In a training one time where we were doing a lot of hopping forward, and it was a very long practice. It was like a 4-hour practice. My watch had burned 2,000 calories just in a yoga practice. It was a lot of work. Switch sides. That, of course, was at a yoga retreat center, so we had vegetarian food after that. No cheeseburgers. Kick and reach on the opposite side now. Just getting a free-for-all here. So let the legs be the power that you're hanging off of. Let your left shoulder just go behind you. And then while you press your standing foot down, watch for the lift of the pit of your belly. Good, I saw that. Nice. Step out. We're going to do a second set. If you want to change it up and use the strap, this is amazing stretching for your shoulders. You would take your strap, step through it, and flex your right ankle so that you have a hook there. You want the strap to be pretty short. If from right here I can just go like this, I'm not going to get the shoulder work. So I want to keep it pretty short. Then I'll kick back a little bit so I can get my elbows into my waist, and that should be very awkward. My arms maybe create this W shape. So I'm going to have to breathe and soften my upper back to bring my elbows to the corners of the room, and then ultimately kick and press my hands to the ceiling. See what you can find for yourself. Good. Knees in both variations, straight back. Good. Take it a little bit further if it's available. Okay, step out. Switch sides. Kick and reach. Now take yourself to the edge of the pose for you. All the way in it, left side, kick and reach. Breathe into your back right ribs if it's standing bow. You have one hand holding a foot. Breathe into your back right ribs. Make them malleable. Step out. We'll take our tree pose this way. Left foot on the ground, sole of the right foot to the left inner thigh. And then we'll take the back of the hand and press it against this inner crease of the right knee. So you get the tension of the inner thigh pressing against the back of the hand. We use the back so we don't start holding on. And then the left arm can go up in the air, straight up at first. Let your left heel sink down while your fingers stretch up. So your body is long and lean. Then it can be like you're scraping your fingers across the ceiling. So you stretch the whole sideline of your body. You got it. Stretching up and over, just enough to bring attention into the side and breathe into it. This is activating your center line. Good. That's just a little awkward. You don't have to quite go for that in the knee. Let's switch sides. So we're looking for the side to stretch. When it stretches, what we're putting the attention on is breathing and how breathing will make some space between your ribs. Good. Now reach up with your right arm. Get the down of your heel and the up of your arm. So the elbow's active, the fingertips are active. In your imagination, does it feel like you're touching the ceiling? Then stretch just up and over, and the whole side line of your body will stretch. You breathe into that. Concentrate on breathing into it. Breathe into it. You're making new space, and then step out. Front of your mats at the front. Inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Chaturanga on the exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side triangle. Step forward. Make a long stride. The longer your legs, the longer the stride. And stretch the whole underside of your body. Maybe at first you reach to get the sense of stretch. Hands to the floor and then reach up. It will take less butt cheek squeezing strength and more pit of the belly strength to get access to a new level of this pose. Soften your locked front knees. A little bit more there, Molly. Yeah. That's it, Blake. You can even take your top arm around behind your back. That may give you access to opening up the pose in new ways. So right there, that's the spot. Yeah, stretch that. You got it. Just breathe. One more breath. Come up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat. Hands to your hips, lift high, forward fold. You could use your 2 blocks here or hands to the ground. We're looking for fingertips on the ground. And then the maximum stretch, fingertips to hips, and let your hips sag back, sink back behind your heels. So you have the maximum stretch in your side. Yep. Breathe into that space. This alone will let you leave class with a whole new access to taking a deep breath, to having fluid freedom of movement in your middle back. Keep your hands both stretching, particularly your left one, don't move it. Your left foot, bend your knee so your heel comes off the floor. Then with your right hand, reach underneath of your left arm, all the way over to your left ankle, reach as close to your heel as you're able to. Then breathe in, keep your body long, and exhale, press your heel down. I still want to feel from my left fingertips all the way up to my hips length. And now what's exposed is my right back rib cage. Do you feel that? Breathe into it. Expand and soften. Expand and soften. Switch sides, both hands reaching forward now. Anchor the right one. Lift the right heel so it shortens the distance that you have to reach to get to your heel or ankle. And then as you press your heel down, it drags you into a deeper twist. The weight should stay even in your 2 feet. So we wouldn't want your shifting your hips over to the right here. Keep on breathing. Hands forward. Come all the way up to standing. Once you're standing, turn to face the front and step to the front of your mat. At the front, sweep your arms overhead and fold to the floor. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side triangle. Step your foot forward. Keep your breath flowing as you build this pose. Point your toes of your left foot and your knees in the same direction and anchor your big toe down. A little softness if you have the ability to lock your front knee, a little softness. And now pit of the belly. That's got to be interesting. It's a lot interesting. Come on up to standing. You could use your strap here. Take it behind your back so that your hands are shoulder width distance. If you have a loop in your strap, you could also just have your hands in the loop and press outward. Feet parallel to the short sides of your mat. Forward fold. Let your hands spill overhead. While you're here, take a sigh or 2 to just let your hand weight drop. While you're breathing, see if you become aware of the front outer corner of your upper chest and your armpit opening. And also the ribs up near your armpit in your back. Breathe into that. Blake, take your hands a tiny bit wider even so your hands fall forward more. That should work. Try now. Yep. Even a tiny bit wider than that. And then just drop them. A little easier. Yeah, your body's like, this is a lot of new space. Keep your hands holding your strap. Keep your weight even in both feet. And your head as this like weight point forward of your balanced hips. And then take a breath. Turn your attention toward your left foot and let your hands drop toward your right foot. Breathe and feel how that twist feels in your body. Could go a little wider with your strap. See if that makes it a little nicer for you. Back to the center. And now the opposite way. Whole body long. You breathe and come on back all the way up to standing. Drop the strap, step to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, inhale, reach your arms overhead and forward fold. Lift halfway, chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. We'll take the block at the back center of your mat, just almost to the back. I know you guys like this a lot, so I don't want to miss it. Okay, ready for a lot of core strength? Let's just identify where our core is for a second. So first, just a little round back. Your upper body, your upper back flaring open and your belly lifting. So not the full cat stretch, but just toward it. Definitely not the cow stretch, not the belly sagging stretch. So we want the lift. Then you can work with your toes, turn to under like they are in a push-up. Lift up, lift the pit of your belly, hug the block. Hug it and lift it. And keep pressing with your strong hands. And then lift the block down, whoops, and tap out to the side. Hug the block, tap out to the side. Hug the block, tap. I'm going to just check it out. Your hips should only be shoulder height. So many of you could drop your hips. And we definitely want to stay out of the lower back. So you'll dial your pelvis there. Okay, now sit your knees down, stretch back into your child's pose. You know we're just getting started. Blake, did your friends say that yoga class was boring? I thought your mom told me that. He doesn't know. He brought a bunch of his teammates. Okay, we ready now for the next one? So now you had your toes turned under like a push-up. This time your toes will be pointed back. So we're using all core and outer hips. So pit of the belly lifting, toes pointing, hug your block, lift up. So pit of the belly lifting, that's the high point as your hands press down. You can stay here and hug, or you can take tapping to the right, keep your pelvis level, tapping to the left. Keep on going, 3 times each side. Hips a little lighter and higher. You got it, pit of the belly more of the pit of the belly, less the mid back, and sit your knees down, hips back to your heels. Good job. Just stretch your back long from your fingertips to your hips. Are you feeling the warmth, the heat in the pit of your belly? Angie made a mean face. You've got one more variation. So you might be doing any of the variations we've done, reminding you it doesn't have to be the plank. Any of it can be done right here, and you're tapping, but it has to be this lifting. We don't want any sway in the low back, so I'm checking that for you. Next to last one, you've done all this leg lifting to the side. Now you have leg lifting to the side here. It might be that you fling your leg around, and you're kind of like getting it up there and throwing it back, or you can touch it and bring it back. Straight arms, touch it, and bring it back. 5 times each time. Go. Lift the pit of your belly and back. Lift the pit of your belly. Upper back. You got it. Give it a try. You guys are doing really well. Angie, I love the block there to get up and around. Yep, we'll add that in the future. We'll do that in the future. Nice, Janet. You got it, Suzanne. All the way up to your shoulder as far as it will go. And then when you're finished, child's pose. Child's pose. It's so good though. So much core strength, so much stability in your hips, and mobility in your rib cage. Lets you do a lot of things. Take a rest for just a second. I'm going to give you one more thing and then we'll move on to hips. I think I have enough of these here. You're gonna lock me out. Here, Blake. Okay. You guys have some towels there. Okay, you've got one that will slide. I've got one more up here. If you have something that I don't think that evolution towel will be very slippery. Let me see if it is, because I have one here. Okay, you're coming off of your mat. Your hands can be on your mat though. So you could turn sideways so that your hands are still able to be on your mat and your towel off your mat. So if I'm on my mat, my towel off my mat, you're going to press your hands down. We'll see how this goes. Press. You're going to just slide your toes in and back out. They might just go a little bit, and that's fine. You might find what works for you today is just knees in and out. Knees in and out. But no butt popping in the air. That'll be all your lower back dragging on this. Belly, pit of the belly, pit of the belly, pit of the belly, pit of the belly, and back out. Try pointing your toes next time, Blake. You got it. Try pointing your toes using the pit of your belly, a little pit of your belly right there where your lower back was working, Kristen. Right here, Betsy. Right here. It comes from here. Lift. Yes, feel it? Pit of the belly, Blake, more. And then your feet would go wide and those side leg raises would press you into a handstand that we practiced earlier. So Blake, you could take 2 towels, one for each foot. It's like, how did I get to be in this class today? So Blake, you'll slide in and then just take your feet wide, back, and slide back. Give it make sense? So you will slide in, take your feet wide, back, and slide back out. Give it a try. How are we doing, team? In Feet wide and keep leaning, Blake. Yep, straight arms and back. Yes. Press your hands. Press, 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 and go back. Do you want help with one? Do you want to do one more? Or are you done? Okay, you're good. Last one. Okay, you've earned great rewards. Lie down on your back. Where you feel the cramp? Your quads? Okay, onto your mats. Just take a little gentle cobra or upward dog to stretch out the whole front of your body. That was just working. You can take a cobra upward dog. You don't have to work that hard. Just a little something to stretch. But for the quads, you might even bend your knees and lift. Good. Lift more in the pit of the belly. Okay, great. We'll take pigeon pose. Bring your right leg forward. Right leg forward to the pigeon. Watch your right thigh. See to it that the thigh is parallel to the side of the mat. So a little more hip over this way, or knee in. And you could probably square your shin more, do you think, Kristen? You feel that in your hip? You do? Okay. Look kind of easy. Betsy, looks good. Now here, you can take your strap, lasso your back ankle, and then I'm going to make this lasso long for you. Okay. Don't use your leg strength to do this or your leg's going to cramp in your hamstring. And you just hold this over your shoulder and forward fold. As much as you feel comfortable with. Just going to reposition this really gently. How's that feel? Okay? Good. Want to strap? Molly, what was that? Not doing it? Do you want a strap? You probably can also just reach it. But sometimes it's nice to have a strap. Good. Sandra, let's give you a little block over on your right hip so you don't feel so much of that tipping. You know what? Maybe this will be enough, not the block. The block's probably too high for you, I'm guessing. Here's that. Just enough. Good, Janet and Angie. Yeah, you doing okay over here? Switch to the other side. Yeah. Yes, it feels good, doesn't it? Watch that little shift to get comfortable, Kristen. When you do that, you don't necessarily notice what's happening, but now your knee's coming way out here. It needs to be in. So this, parallel to this side. Yes. Do you feel the difference? Not so much? Okay. And you can reach for your right ankle, lasso it, fold forward, and take your back leg with you. So from the bird's eye view, we want your two sides of the pelvis level instead of sitting to one side. Yep. Knee on the ground. You got it. Good. Good. Now lift, Molly. Gather in and lift. Couple more breaths. One more, and then we'll come to double pigeons. You'll swing your right leg around, stack your shins up. You could sit on a block. You could do this pose a lot of different ways. Then crisscross applesauce of the legs, but deeper. So once you get settled, you'll stack shins one over the other. Now, it might look more like this. Does it go up on your... Somewhat. That might be good. You could also open it up, but if it comes just to here, this will work and you can lean back. Sit up tall. Try the floor. Right ankle on your left knee. Sit right there and flex your foot. If there's an ability to move your hips back and lean forward, you can take that on. I don't know if that's available for you if you would like that. Sandra, I can see you're sitting really tall. it, Angie. Nice. Janet, you could probably bring your bottom foot forward a little bit more. Just so it's right there. Yes, outside of your knee. Feels okay? Okay. Then from here, listen, boat pose in the middle. I know. Everybody has to get their favorites in. Boat pose, sit up tall, arms out wide like you're lifting up the ceiling at first or hugging a big tree. Body long. Without touching your feet to the ground, hug your knees into your chest, rock 3 times. At the third one, without touching your feet to the floor, boat pose number 2. Up into the boat pose. Maybe you can hold the back of your thighs at first to get your chest in close to your thighs. From there, you might be able to straighten your legs a little bit more and then reach out, reach up, like press up to the ceiling. It makes it a little easier. 2 more breaths. Last one, hug your knees, don't touch the floor, rock 3 times. Once you get up here after the third to sitting on your hips, you can put your hands behind your heels. Try not to touch your feet. You might stay like this or extend one leg. It might be out here like your feet are making more of like a dead bug pose, or straight up in the air and you'll just sit up tall. You got it, as tall as you can. Holding your feet if it's possible. Nice. Just want to really challenge yourselves. Keep holding your feet on your heels like a V in your legs. 3 rocks here. Just try. Just try. 1. Plop. 2. Just give it a try. It's a little tricky. You have to really manage it from the pit of your belly. Did you make it? Back up. Feet. Oh, he's stuck on his back. A really dead bug. Okay. Come out of this and we will, what do you have left? Yeah, let's go to the back of your mat. Back of your mat, so your knees are on the, like, off of your mat. You can scoot your mats a little forward from the wall if they're real close to the wall. So our final core strength exercise. Your arms are going to come to the ground on your mat. So you want to be at the back so that if you roll out of this, you'll roll onto your mat. You're going to measure palm to elbow. So in the progression of difficulty for inversions, the handstand is less difficult than the basket stand, and the most difficult is the tripod, because there's so much more at risk in your neck. Yeah, the balance is there, but it's not coming from the core lifting, it's coming from the base. So then once you've measured, keep your elbows, open your forearms, and interlace your fingers. Now, the thing about interlacing your fingers is you don't want a pinky on top of a pinky. You want one in front of the other. Otherwise, it'll crush the other one. Then your head goes on the ground, and we weren't certain about our heads. It's just about an inch behind the hairline, like where a baby has that soft spot. If it's too far back, you'll roll out of it. If it's like right on your forehead, you'll feel your neck crunching. So you want it to be right behind the hairline, not in your hands, on the floor, and then you cradle your head. Then for everybody, turn your toes under and lift your hips in the air. Now press your arms into the ground for a second, like little pushes where your head lifts off. Get that sense of how much your arms can work. Someday this headstand presses into a forearm balance while in the air. So now that you're here, you can walk your feet in, bring one heel into your bum, and then maybe the other heel into your butt, and you're going to stay with the bent legs. It's harder than the straight legs. Give it a try. You'll build more core strength and stability doing this than any kind of sit-up that you could ever do. So press your arms down, heel into your butt, knee close into your chest. So this will be the action. And then bring the other heel into your hip. That's it. Hug your knees. Feet active. You got it. Good. First try. There you go. Keep hugging. If you start to roll, tuck your chin and let it happen. Knees into your chest. Knee number 1 and 2. Keep them in your chest, Angie. Yeah. Right there. Flex your feet. Keep coming this way. You'll feel like you're pressing over your shoulders. You got it. Whenever you want to, you can go down. Nice. Rest in your child's pose. So Janet, right into your chest with your knees. Right into your chest. You got it. That's it. You keep your knees in your chest. Look, I'm right here. You can't fall. Flex. You're down anytime you want to. I'll take these. You got it. Anytime you want to. Good. Steady breathing. 2 more. Yes, you're doing it. You're getting it. Lean this way. That's where the balance is. Keep breathing. 2 more breaths if you can. You're on your own. Rest. We good? You're going to get it. Well, Blake just did it today for the first time and did it. Okay. He's done with you, ladies. He's like, I'm never coming to yoga again. Okay. Lie onto your backs. Feet facing any direction and hug your knees into your chest. You've done some good work today. Did a lot of core strength in a lot of different ways. Part of your core is that outer part of your hip stability. In getting to the point where there's core strength, instead of the whole thing strong all the time, we got also to the opportunity to breathe and open the back rib cage. We use some stretching to help open that. Now, Supta Baddha Konasana at first. Soles of your feet together, knees out wide. Feel how it is in your body. Yes, when you're learning to be upside down, all that kind of wiggling and a little bit of fear and kind of gripping and catching when you feel like you're wobbling, it does sometimes make a little tight spot in your back. Nothing will open your shoulders quite like an inversion will. Here, have a cold eye towel. Then hug your knees into your chest. Drop them to the left and look to the right. There's a cold eye towel there for you. Oh, did I already give you one? I think everybody's got an eye towel now. Now check it out, how it feels in your body. You've got blocks around you. If you wanted that to be under the back shoulder, if that felt more supportive, you could have access to that. And then switch to the other side. We'll be taking Shavasana and then into meditation for a few moments today. Sometimes when you're learning new things, it could occur as hard, like you have to add effort. And then other times when you're learning new things, it could occur as hard. And what's needed is to add less effort. And in everything, it's really a balance of both of those. Back to the center, Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles together, knees open wide. You could use this pose for Shavasana, but I would have blocks under my knees if I was using this. The next pose is Shavasana, so stretch your legs long and wide. If you've got 2 blocks near you, you could put one under each knee. However you set the pose up, I can bring extra blocks around if anybody would like to have a second block. However you set the pose up, make sure that there's no discomfort in your lower back. Here you go, Betsy. Make sure that your hips feel well settled on the floor. Cold eye towel if you'd like it, arms wide so your body feels very comfortable. Then take a deep breath in, open up your mouth, and sigh. Just let the weight of your whole body settle in. So I'll choose this reading for today. It's called Find Healing and Magic Within Yourself. She was a shaman. Her land next to Cathedral Rock in Sedona, Arizona, was landscaped with a totem pole, a fire pit, a bridge leading to her house, and gardens of flowers and rocks. A river ran across her property, singing to all who quieted themselves enough to listen. A teepee stood close by, one used to house the sweat lodge ceremonies. It was during one such ceremony I had met her. I returned later to talk with her for a while. She welcomed me back. She welcomed all who had visited her to return to her land. She didn't call it her land, she called it the land. And she said it belonged to all of us. You don't have to take this journey, she said. You don't have to travel around searching for spiritual spots. All the wisdom, the experiences, the spiritual places you seek on this quest are within you. While it's fun to go on a trip, and trips often coincide with going to new places in our personal lives, we don't have to load up the car and hit the road to find what we're looking for. The places of power we seek are within us. Places of comfort, joy, wisdom and silence, healing and peace. The places we visit often reflect those qualities, reinforce them, and remind us that they're there. But the places, the locations we visit, they're only mirrors or extensions of ourselves. The healing and magic we seek are not someplace else. They are within each of us. Connect to whatever quality of deep rest and space that you have access to right now. And within that, deepen your breathing, move your fingers and your toes, yet stay connected to deep rest. You can then hug your knees into your chest, roll to your side, and bring yourself up into a sitting position. Create a seat that you're just comfortable in, because we're just going to be here for a couple of minutes, not long, but just a few minutes. You can sit on a block or sit on the ground and have blocks under your knees. Just create it so you're comfortable in your knees, and you can sit up tall. And rest your hands wherever it's comfortable. I like to just rest my palms on my thighs. Other people like to turn their palms to face up, or rest your hands at the center of your body near your ankles. Close your eyes. See if there's any adjusting to do to maybe move your shoulders up to your ears and back to your body. So you're really sitting on your sitting bones and sitting tall. Then with your eyes closed, put all of your attention on your nostrils and the feeling of air coming in to your body. You might notice the air has a quality of being cool. And then watch the air go out of your body. You might experience it as warm. Draw in cool air and soften, let go of the warm air. Just watch that pattern of drawing in and letting go. Even if you find yourself distracted or notice you're not watching the air move, you can always start again. See if you can sense how the air comes right to the surface of your nose and the opening of the nostrils and then moves up and into your body. See if you can even sense yourself drawing it all the way up to the crown of your head. And from there, back down and out again. Just watch for it. Might take some imagination. Soft breath. Sense the air come in, draw up all the way through to the crown of your head, and then back out. If your body gets uncomfortable, you're welcome to move it. Just keep noticing your breathing. Air in, air out. All of your attention there. And commit to just staying, watching the breath. For the last couple of breaths, as you draw air in, imagine that you're drawing in a freshness, a new day, a clear slate. And then as you exhale, just imagine it moving out of your body. In the back, just moving out anything that feels stuck or left over from yesterday. Draw air in, a fresh new day. Let go, anything left over. And offer yourself a clean, fresh slate. In this space, set an intention for the rest of your day. Much like our intention guided each pose or had that opportunity to do that, the intention set for the day has the opportunity to guide each time you relate, you connect to yourself or to others. Then bring your hands to rest in prayer position, and one time we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Inhale. And exhale. Namaste. Good work. Good job. You guys are getting good at those inversions, getting confident. So we'll just keep on working on those Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Have a great rest of your day.